So I'll go now. We've gone through all of this. We've gone through hot fields, confidentiality codes, privilege codes, and responsive issues. The only thing we've skipped is redaction reasons. So let me go and show you how you can go about redacting. So over here on this icon, it's like a pencil going over a square. This is image markups, where you can go ahead and highlight or redact documents. So if there's specific information that should be redacted on the image for when producing to opposing counsel, but you still need to produce it. This is probably not the best example because there's not much here, but like, let's say this information is privileged for some reason. You can go ahead and redact it. You can give a reason why you redacted, or you can just leave it as the customary redacted. If you need to create custom reasons why a document is redacted, you can go ahead and do so here, just like with anything else. But most people just usually use redacted. You can customize your redaction style. If there's an ESI protocol to state why you need to create, or a specific way you need to create your redactions. You could say white fill color, no black outline, no text. You could have with black text. There's a bunch of different things you can hear, but black fill color, no outline, no text is generally the industry standard. For internal purposes, you could type in notes for why a document is redacted or not. But you're also, for internal purposes, you're going to be able to see what's underneath the redaction even after you image it. So I don't know that notes necessarily are the most helpful, but certainly can if you want to. Once you hit redact, it's actually going to re-image that document so that you don't see what is under there when you produce it. Not only is it going to block the image where you can't see this, it's also going to affect the text. So people won't be able to look at the text of that document, kind of a backward. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So sometimes there have been some issues with other softwares where when they go through and redact, they only redact over the image. But someone could go back and say, let me look at the text of this document, and they'd still be able to see start date 2/6/2, all this information just by kind of having a back way through. And so whenever we do a redaction, it actually blocks out that information in the text file as well that's going to be produced to opposing counsel, so they won't be able to see either on the image or the text to find out what was underneath there. You can do the same thing for highlights. You can go ahead and say, I'm highlighting this for whatever reason. You could say if it pertains to a specific responsive issue, and you can just go ahead and hit highlight. I personally don't think that the highlight feature function is all that helpful. When you produce to opposing counsel, it's not going to include the highlights even if you did them. So that's good. You obviously wouldn't want them seeing what you had highlighted as important. But I think that unless that is part of your process when it comes to the review, you certainly can do that. You have the ability to, but I just don't think that highlights are necessarily as important as the custom coding for specific reasons. Because you can search for documents that are highlighted, just highlighted : true, but you can't look for specific documents and say, like, I'm looking for specific documents that are highlighted on page whatever, or like you can't get any more granular than just whether or not they're highlighted. But once you hit highlight, it again will re-image that document. So let me show you what a redacted document actually looks like. If I go to review, type in redacted true, I can jump in. Let's go into a Word document. We can see that this has been redacted. Looks like that's the only redaction. But I could go ahead and toggle this markup on or off to see what's underneath there if I needed to know. Opposing counsel won't be able to do this. Just anyone who has access to your database will be able to do this to see what's underneath there. Once this gets produced and exported out of Nextpoint, that image will not be, you can't play around with it. You won't be able to see what's underneath it as it's intended for obvious reasons.